yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, ready? Am I ready? Ah, I'm so excited. Okay, water, tissue. Hi everyone, I'm Maria from She Likes Greens, and this is my very first YouTube episode. I am so excited to be here. I'm going to be sharing with you guys tons of easy, amazing vegan recipes, and today we're getting started with one of my favorites. It is a roasted creamy cauliflower soup. I love this soup because it is super hearty and filling. It's not one of those soups that leaves you feeling like you need to eat something else to be full, and it's super nutritious. So here's how you make it. So we're going to get started by cutting our cauliflower. I'm going to take a small knife, and all I'm going to do is kind of cut off the stems here. Boom, there we go. And from here, all I'm going to do is kind of just like take off the florets. You can kind of start with the paring knife and see, the florets would just like pop off like this. Okay, so now I'm just kind of cutting these into smaller pieces, just because the smaller the pieces, the faster that it's going to roast in the oven. If I were to leave these big guys, that's going to take like a long time, and that's not what we want. Okay, so now that these are all kind of like nice and cut up and not too big, I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil. Whoop, that just flew everywhere. Whoop. I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil on a baking sheet, and we're going to throw all of these cauliflower florets on there. Okay, so this was like a really huge head of cauliflower, and it doesn't fit on my baking sheet. My oven's like not so huge, so like my baking sheet's not that big. That's fine. I'm not going to use all of it. Like, it's better to not overcrowd it on here and have it be too crowded, because then it's going to steam weird and it's not going to roast and get nice and crispy on the edges, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so before we get to the onion and garlic, we're actually just going to season the cauliflower. We're just going to drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. I've done this where I have seasoned it with like more things like cumin and coriander and different stuff like that, but at the end of the day, whenever I've tasted the soup, I really can't tell the difference. So we're just gonna like keep it basic and season it with salt and pepper and olive oil, and that should be fine. We're just gonna leave a little bit of space for the onion. Now, for the onion, one thing that I love about this recipe is we don't have to mince an onion, which I feel like every single recipe that you make, you're mincing an onion, which, don't get me wrong, I love onion and it adds tons of flavor to everything. But it's kind of just nice just to have a vacation from onion cutting, and just to slice it in half. I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil on the bottom here, and we're gonna lay it down here on the baking tray, as you can see. Next, for the garlic, I use 3 big cloves of garlic for this recipe. And here we're gonna leave them skinned. That's another thing that's so easy. We're gonna leave the skins on them, and I'm only gonna cut off the top. This is just gonna make it easy to squeeze out at the end, because it's gonna be really soft whenever we, after we roast it. The way that I like to roast garlic is in tin foil. So I just like leave the skins on, just cut the ends off, lay them in there all together, all snuggly in there. And then I'm just gonna pour a little bit of olive oil on there. And then we wrap them up, make them all cozy, and just plop them on the baking sheet with the rest of the stuff. And they're gonna get a little, it's like a little sauna in there. It's gonna get a little spa treatment, and that's it. Now I'm gonna pop this in the oven at 220 degrees Celsius. Okay, I just took this out of the oven. It looks perfect. The edges are like nice and browned and caramelized, and the color of the cauliflower is not white anymore. It's kind of like a yellowish. That's what we want. Like, that is where all of the flavor is gonna come from in this soup. And I don't know if you guys have tried, but just like roasted cauliflower on its own is like addicting. Every time I make this, I take this out, I can't stop eating the cauliflower. It's like a goodness of one of those things like potato chips. Like, I can't stop. It's like one of those, but with cauliflower. Now we also have our onions. Oh God, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot. You want to be careful with that. I'm gonna wait to touch that. Garlic's probably really hot too. This is like really soft and smushy. You should be able to smush it, and it's like completely smushy in there. Another thing, you wanna make sure that you keep just like a few of the cauliflower florets, if you want to have a garnish, which I do. If you don't want a garnish, if you're like not one of those, then don't, but sometimes if you're feeling fancy, it's kind of nice to like put a little cauliflower floret on top, then people know what the soup is. Okay, so now I've put everything in the blender, and now I'm just going to add my broth. Okay, I'm just gonna start off just by adding enough to where like it's almost at the top of the cauliflower. I don't wanna like fill it up too much. That's why I don't do exact measurements, because it depends on your cauliflower head, your baking sheet, how much space you have. So we're gonna blend this up. That's enough of that. Okay. Yeah, this is like super creamy right now. It might be a little bit too thick. I'm gonna add a little bit of broth. But that's good. If you get it too liquidy at the beginning, no. But the taste is on point, you guys. I'm just adding a little bit of broth. Still super creamy. This is the consistency that I want. It's like thick, but not too thick. It's perfect. I kind of like to think of it as like when you stir your spoon around in it, does it leave an indentation or no? I want it to like leave a little indentation. I think that's like the perfect creaminess, but you don't want it like hummus. That's like going too far. Now, I'm gonna show you two things that really set this soup. It puts it on the next level, I swear. You're gonna taste it first and you'll be like, oh my God, that's so good. Wait, just wait a second. You're gonna add just a little bit of nutmeg, okay? Just a little smidgen of nutmeg, not that much, just a little bit, and juice from half a lemon. It's always good like when, if a recipe, you feel like it just needs like a little something extra at the end, and you don't want to add salt, you're like, it doesn't really need salt. A lot of times it needs acid, so either like lemon or vinegar or something like that. In this case, the lemon like goes perfectly. So we are just going to like blend that up to combine. It's perfect. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Just a little bit. Just like taste as you go. If you want it to be like, have a little bit more zing, add more lemon. I'm just adding a little bit of salt. It really depends a lot on what kind of broth do you use. Are you using low sodium? All different kinds of broths are different, and that will make a big difference. So if you think it needs a little bit of salt, add it. Oh my God, that is it. That's the money. That is the money maker soup right there. It's like a super nice, round, bold flavor. The lemon adds a lot. That little bit of nutmeg adds like a warmth that just like sets it over the top. And now all you have to do is heat it up on the stove and you're ready to go. All right, the boss ladies are up from their nap and they are ready to eat. So let's see how they like the soup. Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Does it taste good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope you liked today's episode. If you did, please give it. Okay, again. I really hope you liked today's episode. If you did, give it a like and subscribe because I'm going to be coming out with new content every single week.